YouTube, what's up? It's your boy AOF and Tito. I have a very sentimental video to share with you guys today based off of something I'm going through myself. Unfortunately, I don't like putting my business out there, but I feel like I kind of have to with this so that way people can maybe share this video. It can knock some sense into some of you parents out there. I'm not going to single it on mothers because there's some fathers that are shady and shiesty too, but that are doing more damage than good, and they're manipulating the situation and basically lying to themselves about what's the right thing to do when it comes to your kids. You see, I was in a relationship for about 6 years and finally had the privilege of having my daughter out of this whole thing. Unfortunately, it was not one of the most healthiest relationships, and that's as far as I'm ever gonna get into that, because none of y'all need to really know about my shit like that. You know, you should never put your business out full pledge for anybody. You know, it's just that stuff, it has a time and a place and a certain spot, which is inside your home for that. But what I will say is this. You know, I had somebody today, you know, talk about custody and, you know, what's right and what's wrong and how she feels about sharing custody with the father of her children. And it came to something that just really triggered me. And what triggered me was this woman saying, after hearing me basically saying that I have custody of my son, literally 50-50 with the mother, and we worked that out very well. I have my son 7 days a week, every other week. It rotates back and forth. We've been fine with that. It works beautifully. But this lady basically had said that her father, her baby father, tried pulling that same stuff and she wouldn't allow it. And that's because she couldn't envision not being around her kids for a whole week. She couldn't envision going that long without seeing her children. She, quote unquote, said that she would feel empty inside to not have her kids around her for that long. So when the father tried to do this, she shut that shit down, yo. Shut it down. The father sees the kid maybe once a week on a Saturday, give or take every Saturday. Hey, I didn't even get into it at that point because I kind of just went off after that. Here's what I want to share with you guys though. And for any woman that's out there that is open-minded, maybe it'll help you out if you're guilty of this. I'm not trying to shun you for it. I mean, I got my ways of thinking and it might not agree with you. I might have a lot of people on here that's about to bash the shit out of me. That's fine. That's fine. I have thick skin. I can take it. All I can say is this. If you're a woman out there or a mother out there that feels that way, that feels, I couldn't be around my kids. I could not be around my kids for that long without feeling empty. Put yourself in that father's shoes, man. Like, how you think, and this is applying to good fathers that actually give a damn about being in their kid's life. There's a lot of fathers that don't care, that don't fight, that don't sit there in court wasting their time, their money, their paycheck to see their kids. But you got some fathers, like myself, and I'm sure a lot of you out there too, that will fight until their very last breath to be able to be around their kids and to bond with their kids and to watch them grow and to support them to an extent, you know, based on what they could do at the time being. You know, some people don't make as much as others. I mean, it happens. But what I'm trying to get at is, think about the damage that the father's going through when he can't see his kids for a whole week. Or he can't see his kids but only maybe a Saturday and a Sunday while you have them for the whole week. How's that make us feel? See, here's the situation. When two people get into a relationship and they can't work it out and kids are involved, unfortunately, when you guys break up, you have to mentally prepare yourself for this type of stuff to happen. And you got to think off the rip that when you guys break up, you got a kid or kids involved, and both of y'all are gonna want to see that kid equally, if it's that important to you, to both of you. And maybe if that kid is old enough, that kid's gonna want to be around his parents equally too. You know, he don't want to just see mommy a couple days a week, or his father just a couple days. That's not bonding. That's not, look, you messed up in the sense of you're putting your kid through this. Unfortunately, sometimes it's not your fault. I get it. Sometimes it's really bad situations that happen. You got to break up. It's not healthy. I get it. But you have to understand and put into consideration that you have to make it work. You have to make it equal. You have to come to an understanding that both parents, including yourself, is going to want to be around that kid as much as possible. So guess what? The only thing I can think of off the rip of all this is a 50-50 type of arrangement. 1 week the mother has them, 1 week the father has them, and y'all communicate and y'all keep in touch. Let the kids call as much as possible. Don't ever shun the kid out. Let that kid do what they gotta do. And if they're babies, you know, look, FaceTime, do whatever you gotta do. It doesn't matter. But you have to understand that you're putting yourself in a situation once you separate to possibly feel a little empty. So the only thing you can do at this point is, well, you know what? I'm gonna not enjoy the fact that I can't see my kid for this whole week, but then I got a whole week with my kid. And I'm sure that other parents can say, they're like, damn, it's been a whole week and I feel a little empty, my kid not being around. But that's just what happens when two parents can't work it out. It's not the kid's fault, and the kid has to sit here saying, when am I going to see my dad or my mother? And it's crazy to me that court and the system is so rigged and jaded sometimes, unfortunately, to the mothers, and they treat these fathers like absolute shit. Where some judges don't even allow the father to get that right. Who are you to tell me when I can see my kids? No one's above me when it comes to my child. To tell me you can see your child, it should be completely exiled from the court system of when somebody can tell me when I can see my kids. I determine when I can see my kids. Of course, by having some kind of mutual agreement with the mother, and that really should be something equal. And that's the whole point of this video. You can never be that selfish to sit there and say, I'm not gonna let the father of my kid, not see his kid, but for only a couple of days. Yo, you can get them for the Saturday and Sunday. You can get them every Friday. Now, there's some fathers that are okay with that. Hey, man. Again, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to say shame on you. That's your kid. You'll be there for your kid. You be there as much as you want to be there. And that's on your conscience at the end of the night when you sleep. Me personally, I can't do that. I got a 7-year-old son, already on the honor roll. Happy as could be in baseball. He's enjoying sports, musically inclined. It's a very happy boy. And I have him for 7 days every other week, rotating with the mother. It's fair. And I encourage any female out there, any mother out there, if the father wants that, give it to him. Don't argue with him. Don't make it difficult. Don't fight there and try to make excuses, all these different excuses of why he can't have that right. Because he's not sitting there saying you can't have that right. I get it. You carried him for 9 months. Cool. But at the end of the day, you love your child. And guess what? As a father, we love that child just as much as you do, no matter what. No matter how much you carried that child for 9 months. Any real man, any real father loves that child just as much as you love that child. So there should be nobody there to dictate the length, unless that length is being talked about equality. 50-50. However you want to make that work, it's on you. Look, I can ramble for hours on this subject, but I'm sure some of you guys have probably turned the video already. That's fine. And for anybody that's still sitting here watching the video, I applaud you. You know, whether you agree with me or not, you know, I can't force anybody to have the same opinion that I do. I'm sure there's, you know, that's why we're all different. All I could do by making this video is try and put some of my perspective into the situation that happens quite honestly too often. You know, I'll be again fighting for my custody, and it's gonna be a long battle that I deem is worth it. Unfortunately, I've lost jobs over this before. I've lost homes over this before. I've lost my car over this before. I guess they say be careful who you sleep with, right? But unfortunately, what's done is done. And all I could do as a person is be that right person and try and make things work when it didn't work. And that means with my kids. It didn't work with who I was with for 6-7 years. I shouldn't be faulted with my kids for that though. It works with my kids. And that's the whole point of this video. Look guys, I don't give a damn if you subscribe, follow, like, comment. I don't give a shit. I really don't. That's not the point of this video. You guys want to share it? Great, good for you. Maybe it can get out there. Maybe it can start hitting home for some people. And I want to say before I end this video that I know I personally am saying mother. It's only because of what I'm going through. Fathers too. You know, and fathers have a lot of wrong in this too. You know, where you're not around. Again, there's different situations for every individual, and I'm not gonna judge why you aren't. I just hope it's for a good reason. Just please don't sit there making excuses as to why that father can't be around his kids if he wants to be around his kids. If he truly, genuinely wants to be around his children, don't sit there making excuses as to why he can't. If things happen between you and that man, or that man and that woman, that's between y'all, man. Look, give the man a chance. If you see some stuff going down later on that is detrimental to that kid, then you go ahead and you have that conversation and you do what you got to do. But if that man has never really given you a reason to not feel comfortable, if he maybe abuses the kid or something, he's, you know, sitting there doing things that he shouldn't be doing with kids, all right, fine. But if it's a good man that's simply trying to get time, equal time with his kids, man, give it to him. Give it to her. Whatever the situation may be. You know, don't sit there. Basically sit there and try and defamate a person's character, make up lies, only tell one side of the story to your friends on social media, blast some motherfuckers like, yo, what the fuck? Yo, stop doing that shit. It gets ugly. Try and keep that shit out of court. It gets ugly. It gets expensive. Don't nobody got time to be in court. So I'm gonna end it right there, honestly. I know I keep saying I'm gonna end it, but I'm really gonna end it right there. Be civil. Make it work. Make it work outside of court, for the love of God, yo. Do what you gotta do. Just be parents and be good parents and co-parent at the end of the day, man. That's all I say. I'm out.